What is a Pantyhose Mancave? Find out after these commercials. But then I'm like, we don't have any commercials. Today's episode is going to be about something we have not discussed before. It is a Pantyhose Mancave. What is that? Well, you'll have to find out. Oh, hi, Cecilia DeRaffael. How are you doing? Are you out there?
I thought you were going to say hi, Sissy.
Sissy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Tights from My Mind. I'm your host, Pantyhose King, and with me is my host, McSheer. Say hi, McSheer.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mr. King.
Yeah, you're my co-host and Alzheimer's nurse.
In little white tights.
Large white tights, please, and French fries. Are you feeling very sissified today?
I will be when I shave this beard off. I've got a bit of stubble.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't like to have hair on your face.
No, I don't, but it's time for it to come off. It'll be coming off tomorrow.
It's so strange. That's the one place on my body that I really don't get that bothered by it. Like, everywhere else, I'm like, ew. It's kind of weird.
I guess it's just hyper masculine, isn't it?
Yeah, also, my beard just, it grows back by, the afternoon.
See, that's why I wish I was more down the drag route or down the out and proud route, because when I wet shave, I've got a good 4 days before I really see anything.
You are you're very fair-haired, fair-skinned. You're just white.
You remember that's what you were laughing at my Beyonce moves a few weeks ago.
It was hysterical. And also, do you want to know what happened to our ad that you made for our Patreon? This is kind of funny and a little bit annoying, but also funny. It got flagged for age restricted.
Oh my god! Which video is this?
The ad of you for Patreon that we were doing about our Patreon, which, by the way, join our Patreon and you can get tons of goodies, such as access to our Discord server. And if you want to, you can even become a free member of my website, pantyhoseking.com. And if you want to do that, you can become a co-host or even a host of a show once a month with me and McSheer. So check it out. It's patreon.com/tightsframeofmind.
You'll also get to see our apparently age-restricted videos that we put up from time to time. And we're getting closer to the production of our audio play, the Pantyhose play, The Tragedy of
McSheer. Oh, that's right, because you did the echoey thing. That was really cool. But no, actually, everybody can see the Patreon ad because it was supposed to be an ad for a Patreon. Then it got age restricted, which means nobody. I mean, well, I guess we don't really want people when you can't really have people. Well, no, our Patreon doesn't have anything rated X on it. I don't think. Maybe it does.
Apparently me comparing opaques to shears is. Because that's all that is, isn't it?
Your pantyhose legs just set the algorithm monsters off, and they were like, "This is obviously porn," and so that Patreon ad got a limited audience, which was kind of a bummer, but also kind of funny. Okay, so he shall remain nameless because I don't know his name, but he is a member of my pantyhoseking.com website. He signs on as you can get a free profile if you sign on, and you can get access to forums, and for $5 a month you get all the good dirty stuff. But he joins. He's from my same town, he's from town, right? And he's got a picture of pantyhose up on his page and everything. So I write, and I'm like, "Oh, are you local?" And his response is, "Not into wearing. Honestly, I was looking to get an anonymous blowjob and came across this site." And I'm like, you were looking for an anonymous blowjob, and then you came across pantyhoseking.com. Then you signed up, uploaded a profile picture, and then we're looking for an anonymous blowjob from a site that is not about just people from where I'm from.
First question I have is, what's an anonymous blowjob?
Anonymous blowjob is we don't know each other.
But it's not like when they come round, you have to close your eyes and close your ears and close your nose and wait till they've gone before you can open all those things.
No, it could be. I've had people request that of me. They're like, "I'm tied up," and I'm like, "Okay, that once was enough."
Have you heard of cottaging before? Have you heard of cottaging?
I've heard of it, but it's something like strictly come dogging or something. I can't remember. Cottaging, it's a dirty word. It sounds fine, but it's filthy. It
comes from when it was illegal still in the UK
to be gay.
For people to be gay, exactly. Which sort of doesn't go that far back in history. And my point being that some of the much older gay people I know have told me about cottaging, and they said they'd go to men's public toilets and there would be holes in the cubicles, and you'd stick your cock through the hole and receive literally an anonymous blowjob.
That's a glory hole in the United States. But there's not glory holes in like small towns. I mean, there might be, but
Isn't there where most of them are? If you know where they are, surely that's.
I'll tell you this much: I haven't ever gone to one because I just don't think that that's. I feel like that's just so gross. No judgment, of course, but it's gross.
But it's not for you, and it's
No,
also.
it's not for me.
But it is literally what an anonymous blowjob is. To be fair.
Well, no, I mean, like, I guess technically yes, if it's anonymous, but like, also not knowing the person is pretty anonymous. If you don't speak, you don't interact.
True. Fair enough.
There was this one time I had this guy over, and he's like coming in the bedroom, and yes, and there was a pantyhose wearing involved, but he walks in, and I go, so, where are you from? And he's like, are we really going to do this? And I was like, wow, didn't realize that. I mean, it was shockingly rude. I mean, I still did it with him, but I was not happy about that.
Well, you weren't happy because
he basically was like, are we really going to do this? Means like, don't even, like, why are you making the small talk? Why are you pretending like you care? And I was like, ouch.
Oh, right.
Like, just trying to be nice.
But it's nothing to do with the tie, nothing to do with your pantyhose, right?
No. I mean, look, if somebody had been like, take off the pantyhose, I'd be like, no.
Have you Googled me?
I've been up all night Googling myself.
Your impression of me is so funny. I've just been up all night Googling myself. Wait.
I've digested really hard right now.
Well, have you ever had a man cave? Would you say you live in a man cave?
I literally live alone, so my entire apartment is a man cave.
Yeah, I've had that. It's a great way to live, isn't it?
It's so good, but it is not good the second another human being comes over and you realize I live like an animal.
If you're a crossdresser, if you're a hoser,
yeah.
having your own man cave is
I don't
freedom,
know if
man.
I could have done it. Yeah, no, I remember when I had a roommate that was just one time I had a roommate that was a girl and she didn't know about it. This was way back in my early 20s, and like that was I repressed that time, living that time in general, but because she was just a big see you next Tuesday. But I don't know if I could manage to live without having to wear my stuff whenever I wanted to. Because then after that, I had a gay roommate who we slept together on the first like night we met, and then he's like, I want to move in. So that was good. But when I was going through his outfits, because he called me and he said, can you like grab some outfits for me in my closet? And I went into his closet looking for it, and I was going through his sock drawer, and what did I find in there? Several pairs of pantyhose, and I was like, aha.
In his sock drawer?
In his sock drawer. And
so
I was like,
that flatmate you met that you shagged on the first time you met also happened to be a hoser. That's amazing.
Yes, he did, and we took advantage of that from that night on. Of course,
can I ask, what was that conversation? Did you sort of find them and go back, hey, do you like pantyhose?
I said, I found your pantyhose, and I, like, that was it.
And then what did he say?
He said, yeah, well, because he was really, really very, like, he was, like, very small and effeminate and very, like, flamboyant to begin with. So I don't think he was, like, he wasn't going to be embarrassed by, like, seeming feminine or wwhatever.
But surely there's still some sort of mutual coincidence moment of understanding. And fuck, are you really into these as well, or do you know what I mean?
I mean, here's the thing: if you find a pair of pantyhose in a guy friend of yours' closet, you don't really need to get confirmation, right? It's pretty.
Yeah, but I'd be like, what I mean is, it's not a nothing moment, right?
Well, it's not a nothing moment, but it was like. Well, what it led to immediately after that was sex, because I was wearing at the time, like I was wearing under my jeans when I said that, and like I was ready to go.
But you didn't even sort of both go. So, like, how you were sure that you had a fetish for it at the time, but you presumably didn't know how common we now know it is, or how much of it's out there. So surely there was or was it just not like that? Were you just both like, cool, we won't even talk about it?
Well, there wasn't a talking about it. That's kind of weird, but no, there wasn't a talking about it. It was just sort of like, let's have sex while wearing them. But then again, that's sort of indicative of our relationship to begin with. There wasn't a lot of closeness. It was very surface level. Like he was, he lived with me for like, 9 months, and then he was like out as quickly as he was in, moving across the country to somewhere in California. So he was like he wasn't letting anybody in, and I was not looking to let, or I wasn't seeking it. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, he could be listening now if he's a hoser, because he could have tracked this podcast down, and
Yeah,
that's.
yeah, Timmy, if you're listening, you fucking left me with a lot of rent to pay, you douche.
Oh, right, sorry. I was going to romanticize it and be like, hey, if you're still hearing us and hearing my questions that the King's answering, but you've got another side to it, then
Moved to fucking Los Angeles to be a photographer.
I just find that amazing that you stumble across someone that you're shagging and he's also
You know what
into
I find
this
amazing is that I forgot about that. Yeah, you're my co-host and Alzheimer's nurse.
little white tights and a tiny little blue skirt. So you live in a man cave. Have you? You started to mention about your past living experience, and I got digested by one of one of your moments. I was really curious about that relationship.
digested you.
Have you ever been somewhere where you really don't get a? Have you ever had to experience the sort of waiting for people to leave, waiting for people to go
Oh my
away,
God,
waiting for you
yes.
to go away to a hotel for a weekend, and you really can take stuff?
I mean, I was very young. It was basically, I had college. Like when I was roommates with people in college, like that, it just was not even an option. Like I straight up repressed it till about my senior year, and then when I couldn't, and then I moved off campus, and we all had our separate bedrooms. And while I did run the risk of not having a lock on my bedroom door, and like they could be walked in, I did not. I didn't make it very long, and I still remember that orgasm. I was like, "Yeah, no, never, not doing this again."
I mean, the problem with me with having these man caves is once I allow myself to explore and have fun, like days can go by. Like I think, oh, I'm going to just dress up and then get on with all my stuff. But I dress up and then I just yeah. And doing it in dim lights is even sexier than doing it in daylight,
I
right?
think so. Yeah, I mean, like mood lighting is the one of the best things that you can possibly do for any sort of like sexual or romantic thing. So like, you know, obviously you don't want to
Yeah,
get like
that's a good
halogen
point.
lights and light yourself from directly above. You're just gonna be like, ah. Oh, by the way, I had took a trip to Las Vegas this past week.
Oh yes, I forgot to ask you.
I know. Well, I figured you would remember, or I didn't want to be like, so do you want to ask me about Las Vegas? This actually was happening as I had left. I was leaving Chicago because we had to do a connector flight to O'Hare Airport. And over the weekend, I wore, and these are, you can see it on my channel. I have another channel that I do. I wore these pantyhose that they're called Stop and Stare. And they're these pantyhose that make your legs look like they have these really ornate tattoos. Like they're really freaking cool and they're super comfortable. Like they're awesome. Like if you can check them out, it's stopandstare.co.uk, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But Stop and Stare is a brand, and no, they're not a sponsor, but if they'd like to be, anyway. So they're awesome, and I have one pair that was that looks like a koi fish, you know, up my leg, and then another one that was like a giant lion, like a multicolored lion. Like, and we're talking about like it's all sorts of different colors. Like there's no limits to, you know, what the combinations are. And I'm, you know, in the airport, and there's this like redneck guy, like with a really deep accent, you know, like nice guy, but just like really deep Southern drawl. And he was like, we're in the like airport bathroom, and he's like, "That's a nice line you got there." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "What made you decide to get a line?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know, just cuz." And he's like, "Just cuz." And it's like I didn't have it in my heart to tell him like, "You're actually staring at my pantyhose legs." And speaking of things that are attractive, our next guest is a patron who has one of the most wonderful accents I've heard in a long time, I have to say.
Oh, as we pretty much immediately both recognised, it was like a communal moment via across the Atlantic, wasn't it?
And we're about to go global with it because our guest is the inimitable Electric Lake.
Good day, gentlemen. I appreciate it because, like I said, I never wanted to do my own podcast because I can't stand listening to myself for more than 20 minutes at a time.
I have to immediately right off the bat, like, I love your accent. It's fantastic.
You remind me so much of that character in Saving Private Ryan, the medic. Giovanni Ribisi.
I do? Who is that?
Not you. Electric Legs voice.
Oh, he does. Okay, I was like...
You sound like Tarantino.
Yeah, that's what you tell me.
I have a tendency every so many months go by, I'll Google pantyhose news and I'll see what's new and exciting in the world of pantyhose, and usually you end up getting, you know, the regular ads for the big players or whatnot, but you know, you sometimes come across these little gems that you follow. And again, I've never come across it. And actually, the way I found you guys originally was in my podcast uh, updates of new shows and whatever. They mentioned Strictly Anonymous, and I listened to that episode, and I heard your episode on there, Mr. King, and I was like, wow, there's somebody's doing it. How did I miss this? How did this not come across my table? Like, I'm always out there looking for new and exciting things with hosiery related. And sure enough, I found you guys. I listened to the first podcast there, and I'm like, this is fantastic. And here we are today.
Thank
So
you.
I'm really happy that somebody actually out there took the onus to do it. And the fact is, you guys do it in a way that is targeted towards just a little bit of everything in the genre of hosiery. It's not just one specific thing, and that's why I love the show. And I mentioned to you in my text that you guys are very open to
Yeah.
different angles of the community. It's not just focused on just men or just this. Yeah, so I'm really grateful.
First of all, thank you for that. That really warmed my heart to hear that. It's wonderful, and thank you to Kathy for helping us with getting somebody on the show that's a fan. But we actually are naming this episode after something that you brought up in a text. The Pantyhose Mancave. That's going to be the name of the episode. How would you describe yourself as a wearer? What is your draw? Do you prefer to wear as like dress masculine? Do you dress feminine? What's like your wearing style or your ideal wearing style if you are not able to do it whenever you want to?
So normally I wear them in the evenings, or on the weekends as kind of my comfort end of day. While most women are taking them off, throwing them on the side, I'm putting them on, being like, oh, my day's done. I'm relaxing. I'm enjoying. That's kind of, to me, ties in the end of my day. Um, However, in a dream scenario, perfect sense, and I think we'll get to this later on, but uh, you know, with hosiery and the type of fashion that it is, you can tie it very well to just being something you add as an accent. For example, if you're wearing shorts.
Right.
But for me, it's been a challenge because I'm not a big shorts guy, so I love pants. I
Mm.
like pants are my go-to, right? So generally, if I'm at home, it'll be either hosiery with shorts, or it'll be hosiery with leggings, which I do a lot of times. I have footless leggings and then
Hmm.
hosiery with that, or it'll just be like track pants, and that combination alone is like, to me, you couldn't get something to relax me any better than a good pair of nice track pants and a pair of hose underneath. The combination of the two just plays so well together, right?
Right.
But again, to your original question, uh, you know, keeping it feminine down below is probably where the most I would take it, because I do like heels, I do like painted toes, I do like skirts. But I'm not the type of person to say that I'm gonna go out there and do the full changeover, right? Because like you've said in other episodes, it's a lot of work,
It is a lot of
and
work.
it's a lot of work, and to pull it off successfully without arousing the neighbor's suspicion is a whole other ball game, right? So that's kind of where it's at. So it's kind of just right now casual. I know your goal in the whole show is to try to get everybody to go openly, and
Yes.
again, I'd love to.
We
Again, it's challenging for me at work, but for regular going out, I think shorts is my biggest challenge there, right?
Now, I'll tell you this much. I won't say what I know you didn't want to go into what you do for work, but I will just like hint that it is a very masculine industry that you work in.
Hmm.
I'm convinced that honestly, if you wore with shorts, I don't think anybody would say anything because the acts that you do are just so masculine to begin with that it's not. I just don't see anything. Like McSheer, you've been awfully quiet.
Do you get turned on by it? Like, do you consider it a fetish, or is it literally comfort and something you enjoy?
So in terms of women wearing them, I think it again, if I see a woman in and around, showing a nice pair of hose, that catches my eye immediately.
Yeah.
100%. I don't care where I am or who I'm with. If I see somebody very nicely dressed and they took the extra care to add that attention, they're getting my attention, whether they like it or not.
But
But in terms of like men and hose, like I appreciate those that do it and that do it well. There's a lot of images on the internet and everything, and I know you guys have some stuff on your site. I always appreciate somebody going the extra mile, but it doesn't work for me that way. But definitely, if a woman has taken the extra time to put on hosiery, there got my attention. So,
see,
I'll leave it at that.
have you ever been with a girl who you go out to and tell, like, maybe not tell that you've been interested in it yourself, but have you ever gone through and told girlfriends that you like her to wear them and had to sort of hope that she'll?
I have, and
Yeah.
women hate it. Every woman I know hates hosiery.
I have a theory about
And
that.
You got to
No, I do.
come to the UK.
I know, and you look worldwide, and it's like a totally different. It's a 180 from what we do here in North America. But I have yet to meet a woman who's as passionate about hosiery the way that us guys here talking are about it, which is unfortunate because I'd love to have a chat with somebody. I'll tell you a quick story. I know you had Robert on the show, a phenomenal guy. I've purchased a lot from him over the years, and he did a kind of get together, and this will tie in back to the man's garage in a minute. But he did a get together at his shop, and I remember was one Friday night. He had some hors d'oeuvres, and we chat, and it was a fantastic time for me because it was the closest thing to actually tying into the man's garage there in a second. But his colleague there, part of the dress code at his store is you have to wear hosiery, and which
So
obviously
kinky.
it ties into the whole thing, right? And I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, that's usually, I can't force them to wear it and whatnot, but that's one of the things. And I was talking to this associate there, and she was donning this great pair, and unfortunately I don't remember what she was wearing exactly, but it was like, we're talking about why I love them, and she was so taken away that men are so passionate about this industry. And she even came out and showed me what she was wearing and everything, and it was like, it was just seconds away from offering, can I touch him, right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just she was probably the closest to someone who's feminine, who I could actually have a conversation about it, because usually everyone else that I know, it's like those things should have been dead and gone years ago.
Wow, it's
and
heartbreaking,
I know
isn't it?
Well, and I know
It
why
is.
that is. Like, I think I've gone over why I believe that is. I think it's because women, at least in North America, women were mandated to wear them to the workplace. Like, they had to wear them they would get fired from jobs if they didn't wear it. Like, they had to wear it when they were in the army. They had to wear that, secretary. Like, you could not show up at work if you were not wearing a pair of pantyhose.
But
and
not
I
like
can
20-year-old women now in America. or
Well,
even
okay. Do
10
you
years
mind?
ago.
Do you mind my asking how old are you, Electric Leg?
Well, I'm 41.
Okay, so he's the same age as me. So he's still got the same, like, that's still like it's a generational thing. So you think about it. You have one generation of women who are like, that had to wear, or basically every generation of women, like, had to wear pantyhose to be in a professional setting. Then finally they're able to not to. And maybe it's something that's not taught because the mothers hated it. So the daughters learn the behavior from their mothers. And it's sort of like, I think that's why it happens. God damn, my email.
Well,
Is it not? Is it not because in America there's quite a lot of? I always imagine anyway that there's quite a lot of like marketing and show business and pop culture constantly making people look at like they're on the beach and looking like sex is in nudity and all that. Whereas in Europe and the UK, it's a lot more about what you're wearing and the anklet and the hosiery and there's something slightly different in just. I'm completely guessing. This isn't based on any research, but just when I reflect on what it might be, there's a lot of beach bod PR going on in America. From what
That's valid. That's
And
valid, but
we
I
don't
think
really
that
have
that
that
could
here.
be part
You
of
don't
it.
have like volleyball courts and people trying to
No.
look hot on a beach here. It's just not like that, and probably
Are there
similar.
people? Do people actually get hot in the UK? I mean, I know this summer it happened a couple of times, but like,
I went out with an American woman once, and she always, when she dressed up and came to London, she was always trying to show off her bare legs like it was a special thing to me. And I was like, no, put your tights on. It's so much
oh
sexier.
yeah, no, cover those up, you filthy animal.
Yeah, I'd never say that. It was just in my head.
No.
I'm trying to, with Electric Leg here, do you know that feeling where you're trying to be a grown up and you're trying to be okay with it and be like, it's just my fetish, I'll ignore it. But there's a moment of devastation, isn't there, when you realise it's going nowhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
End of the road.
And my theory to why women hate it so much is to be honest, is they lie. One, they lie about their sizing. They tend to downsize, and then the damn things are rolling down all day long.
Or maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're delusional.
Well, yeah, no, I've always been told that sizing has always been a problem because everybody wants to do one size smaller than they actually, because you have the ranges, right? And most thing, and then the other problem is they get the cheapest pairs because if you actually have tried the fine European and Italian hosiery, it's hard to go back to the drugstore brand. And if you haven't actually gone that route, you can't have a fair comparison because they're night and day. Now, mind you, everybody says, well, I'm not spending $30 on a pair. Well, that's your prerogative, that's fine, but you can do it very well for 15 or less.
Yeah,
like
Cecilia de Raphael, man.
Yeah, but again, that's a whole, I think, like the drugstore, supermarket, and cheaper end pantyhose have kind of ruined the market. And it's unfortunate because had the Italian brands been more predominant and the European brands been more predominant at even larger discount stores than Walmart and stuff, there would be a better chance to actually audition a nice pair. And
audition, I like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, but it's unfortunate that's not how it played out, and here we are today, right? There is a slight comeback. I think there is. Younger girls now.
There definitely is a comeback, but more celebrities are wearing them because it's like any other fashion cycle. It's like eventually bare leg was going to get boring. And then also, God help us, bare legs there are some people who, and I don't want to just say women because like men with the short shorts now, like there are so many pairs of legs that just are not supposed to be on display that are on display. And it's like, no. And honestly, it would be like, that's why pantyhose exists, because your legs are not for the naked eye, or the general public. Like your legs are rated R. No, so but just wear some pantyhose, and that's easy. Easy PG, maybe even G, but probably PG. I'd say.
Electric Leg. Can I also ask, just on terms of previous girlfriends or partners and things, people you've been with, in whatever way, shape, or form, have you ever come out with the fact that you've ever worn them to them, and what was their reaction, or are you still someone that keeps that completely to yourself?
No, any long-term relationship, I got into it because it's not something I'm willing to put aside. I know it's hard for a lot of couples and everything. It's just, it's like drinking a fine brandy. If your partner's gonna have an issue with it, it better be known sooner than later.
Yeah, that's the truth, honestly. Yeah, we hosers know that, like, if somebody's gonna be against it, it's not gonna work out. It's like, shit, not gonna work out.
That's what I want to ask, because I've got a feeling, Electric Leg, you'll get this. Is that moment that you're about to tell the person for the first time is still, there's like a build-up of like almost vomit-like fear, and waiting for the response is a bit of a thrill.
It happens. It happens to gay guys too. By the way,
no, I don't think it doesn't happen to gay guys. You keep telling me that you're like, hey, just fuck it, just wear them, no one cares, and it's like,
I say that now, but I wasn't always like that. I mean, like, I didn't come out of my mother like wearing pantyhose and being like, fuck yeah.
Let's just hear Electric Leg's version of that.
Yes, let's hear this.
Well, no, I think the reality is, everybody's nervous. It's not an easy thing to bring up. I think your listener, I think it's Mike, if I'm not mistaken, that only gets like 2 minutes a year. I feel bad for him. I mean, like that's really what I try to avoid in all my relationships. and as I get older now, dynamics change and whatnot, and it's not something I can hide. It's just you like it, you don't. I'm sorry if it doesn't work your way. Again, is it known in my network of friends? No. Is it something known in my household? 100%. And there's nothing I'm gonna battle lash about it, because that's kind of the way it is. And if so happen, if somebody comes over and stumbles upon me by accident, well, I'll deal with it when I cross that path.
Do you think your friends would care? Do you honestly think that they would be like, "Oh no, electric leg, like you"? Well, that'd be funny if they called you that. Electric leg. How could
Well,
you wear
yeah.
pantyhose?
Thing is, it's a bit like what you were saying with the
Yeah,
work
it's
thing. I think that it might be that you think they wouldn't care, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's do we. I wouldn't want to have to deal with the conversation that then ensues, even if I don't think it's true that people wouldn't care, and even though it might not be that you're going to get like annihilated or bullied, it's still a different dynamic that I go, I don't have to deal with that, because I've worked on building sites myself. Not saying that's what Electric Leg
yeah.
does, but I'm talking about masculine environments. And I was imagining when you were saying that, King, to just do it, I'd be like, you know what, I'd love to, but my desire to do it in that environment isn't really there. And to do it would be forcing a sort of different. I'd be doing it on the contrary to how I'd even want to do it and enjoy it myself. And then there would definitely be conversations and a weight of
How many
something.
conversations could somebody get from? I mean, like if somebody comes up and is like, "Are you wearing pantyhose?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Why?"
No, but
I'm like, "Because I
that's
like
not.
to."
I don't think that's how it would go. I don't think it
But
would
that
go
is
like
how
that.
it goes. If you just take command of the narrative and you're just like, what is this? Like, is this really? Because I mean, I think we can discuss it at length because we're hosers. But like the average person is like, there's
I know
one
my. So
question,
if you turned up at
right?
work in like that, I would be. I would be. It wouldn't be that. I'm not suggesting that I would be like crucified or like constantly bullied or anything like that. But
You weren't
imagine
going
you
to be
turned up.
crucified.
Imagine turning up to your place of work with like an inflatable rubber duck around your waist, and everyone looking at
Um,
you, and they're quite serious employees. Like they're a bit toxic masculinity. They're a bit. They don't
Rubber
want people to dick
duck.
about. Yeah, I'm trying. Do you know what I mean? Their perception of it would be a bit like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing it?"
That's
It's
definitely some interesting psychology inside the mind of McSheer right there.
no.
Like it's
I'm trying to offer like what it would be like for them. They might because they wouldn't even understand
oh
well,
my god.
unless they were into it. Well, other than being into it, they'd be like, "What?" They'd just be.
It's like a
They'd just.
squeaky toy on it.
But do you know what I mean, King?
I,
Does that?
I'm
Do you
just
not see that at all?
I do see it. I absolutely see it. I also love your like just very special neuroses that like it's just like it's great.
I think, like, for myself personally, it's a comfort thing at the end. Like I said, it's kind of what I wind my day down to,
But okay,
what I enjoy to
before
wear.
you go
So
on the
for me,
question though, Electric Leg,
yeah,
do you not get turned on by yourself in them? Like, okay, maybe you're not into other guys, but you don't get even a charge from seeing yourself in them or like wearing them
yeah,
yourself?
it's a time and a place.
Okay.
It's kind of just like my biggest thing is a fresh pair. When you pull out a fresh pair, and
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
you don't know what you're gonna get. Is it gonna be is the look of the hose gonna really come out? Is it gonna be like, that's really the excitement, and that's usually where it's really fulfilling for me. Where if you get to an old favorite, you know what you're gonna get, and it's like you're in them, they're great, you know how they fit. But yeah, it's always the experimentation with different brands, and I go through a lot of different pairs over the years. So it's always that peak. You pull the wrapper out, and you're kind of zen with the new pair, and your expectations are to be expected, right? So that's to me is probably the peak, right? And then and going back to the whole work thing, it's just like, you want to come to work with it. It'd be great because you'd be comfortable all day and doing your thing. But it's like, you're right, and McSheer's right. It's like, do you want your colleagues all day long talking behind your back? Is that something you want in your mind? Like, there's all these angles to it all too, right? So it's not a clear cut answer to just go out and do it, but
Yes.
it's kind of, you have to really either go full force with it,
Yes.
or just say that's what I'm doing at home, kind of thing, right? So, but to go, for example, to the supermarket and just go out there or get gas station, whatever the case is. Like that's a whole different experience, and the odds you're going to run into somebody there, I mean, it can happen. It's a small world, but it's less likely that you have to worry about what others are thinking or doing. And that's probably where if I were to go out publicly, that would be where I would turn to first and foremost.
Have you done that yet, or is that something? I don't believe you said you did, right?
No, I have underneath pants and jeans and stuff, but never fully open with shorts or other, right?
That shall change by the time we are through with you. You'll go to the gas station.
I do love your suggestion, King, and I've just got in my head of Electric Leg there going, you know what, fuck it. Going in with it to the place of work or to the gas station, but with his tights on and his skirt and his heels. And when someone goes, what are you doing? And he's like, what? I'm just cold.
What? I'm cold.
And he stood
what
there
the fuck are you doing?
Big red stilettos and a miniskirt.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm sorry, dude, I have something on my leg. I don't. Why are you looking at me?
Right, Man Cave. You have come up with a lovely
Pantyhose Mancave.
Pantyhose Mancave.
Yeah. So to explain quickly on that whole thing, it's just the internet changed a lot of things for all of us and the world as an entirety, but having the ability to finally talk to others with your interests is now so readily available. I know you guys are on tons of different chats, and I've been on a few, but my biggest problem with all of them is as soon as you dive into any one, you're going to run into a few members that right off the bat, they're going to want more out of you before they continue talking. And I've talked to a few people where it's just like, not that I'm against their requests or anything like that. That's not where I'm going. It's just kind of like, I'm here to talk shop. I want to talk hosiery. I want to talk, how do you go about your days and stuff like that? What do you buy? What do you wear? Et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the times I've logged in and I've met new people, it's like, how are you? What are you into? Oh, I'm into this. Would you be interested? And that can vary from different sexual activities.
It's the men. It's the men who are doing it. Yeah. Let's be honest. We all know this.
Yeah, no, and it is.
It's the men.
Well, there's two sides to it. I'll get to that in a sec, but it's like most of the time it's like, yeah, are you into this? Can we meet kind of thing? And you're like, no, not really. I just looking for another pantyhose companion to talk about, shoot the breeze about the thing we love. And I've always had a challenge. And guys either want some kind of sexual favor or they want you to send your old pairs and whatnot, and that's all fine and dandy. And my whole dream, and I know it's impossible, but I wouldn't say impossible, but it's like the ideal image is to have a group of guys just meet on a Friday in somebody's garage or man cave or whatever, and just have a couple beers and talk about the challenges of being a male host or even the females can come join us. I don't know any personally that would love to, but it's just that's kind of the mentality I wish that more people would be out there. And again, not to shoot down the whole ideology of the kinks and the things that come with hosiery, because that is part of the fetish and everything, and by all means, it really saddens me that there isn't more guys out there that'll just come out to you and say, you know what, I went to Walmart yesterday and I threw a pair of no nonsense in my cart and I just bought it. It's kind of like, that's kind of the conversations I want to have. And then when the days pass on and you get to know each other better, it's finding out. And I know there's a lot of guys out there who want to meet and find groups. I've seen people on the chats who say they want to, if you're in the area, let's get together and whatever. But I'm kind of turned away because it's like, if I agree to meet you on a Friday night.
Oh yeah, no, you're toast.
Like, yeah, like I don't want to get into that. I just want to go and say, hey, 5 or 6 guys are in the same topic, can relate and talk.
Yeah, and you don't feel like you're going to be stuck in someone's sofa, given being in that awkward position where you have to go, no, I don't want to go down on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do. If you say hi to somebody on Grindr, like for your average gay guy, that saying hello is an agreement to have sex. It's ridiculous. It's so yeah, no, I get that 100%. But it's funny. I never knew that there would be guys who just want to hang out and talk about it, even though I am one of the guys, but I also am, I'm also fine, like, if I'm attracted to somebody and somebody's like, hey, do you want to do this? I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a problem. So I kind of have best of both worlds, I guess, but I never really thought about the point of view that you guys are throwing
You
out.
really have created some nice artwork as well, I believe. Is that right?
So basically, I don't know if you guys know the film The Christmas Story, where the leg lamp is the major award, and Tom
Yes,
Schroeder,
yes.
and that's one of my favorite movie pieces, and it's kind of obviously because the legs, the hosiery, everything. It's like it was as a kid watching it. It was like, hey, this movie was it made for me? Like you're thinking in the back of your mind, like this is perfect, right? So I've always had a fascination with trying to do leg artwork, and same thing. Like I looked the internet for I'm really sorry I don't have her name, but there's an artist that actually uses hosiery to generate sculptures. I don't know the whole history behind it, and I apologize, but
Oh,
I
well,
always try
you're
to
forgiven.
find different techniques you can do with pantyhose and whatever, and it's not just rolling up your garlic like the books would show. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Yeah, I do remember that. Whoa, flashback.
So it's
Jesus.
like
Wow.
you could do a lot more, and so yeah, my goal is to that's kind of my homage to hosiery. So I got a mannequin leg, and I just dressed it up, but I'd like to turn that into a lamp, and it's in the
I'm
works.
just
But
imagine
yeah,
that garage party for Mancave every week. What the death
I
toll
am
would be.
too. I am too. I'm like, I'm like,
No, but
okay, so there's got to be
imagining all the
Christmas
lighting
lights.
is
There
the
has to be
lighting-
Christmas lights.
The lighting is done
Gotta.
by all these mannequin legs up on
Yeah.
pointing out.
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You could take it to so many levels, and it'd be great. Like,
See, I'm already
and
horny
I
from
know-
that. That's a problem, though. I'm gonna get kicked out. I'll be like, sorry guys, I'm horny. I have to go home. I'm sorry. I'm gonna ruin
No,
everything.
there's a side room for that.
Is there okay? Is there room to excuse myself for when I'm feeling like a little too intense?
There's like a dog kennel out the back.
just fire it out that hole over there, and just
I imagine there'd be a queue out of there.
you'd be like, oh, you're funny meeting you here.
Yeah.
Standing in line for the same thing as me? That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Well, the electric leg and myself and a few others are drinking whiskey and chatting through our denier.
You're having champagne, McSheer. You know
True.
you're having champagne.
That's
You're
true.
not drinking whiskey.
and that's okay.
I need a little bit of bubbly.
Bucks Fizz. Yeah, I think it's a wicked image anyway. King sent it to me. I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, no, okay. McSheer, dare I say, McSheer was like a little boing when he saw it. You were just like, you were like, that's just so hot. No, that's just so hot, isn't it? It's just so god hot. I was like, oh wow. Oh.
I was impressed. I was like, that's so.
But you were also aroused too.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
lie.
Yeah, but in a sort of like classy kind of way. It wasn't.
Well, the reality is that if you look up anything outside of hosiery, like hosiery art and everything, there you find a lot of stuff. But it's usually like drawn imagery
Mhm.
or people take photography and you can get a nice model and hosiery and everything like that, which is all fine and dandy. But it's kind of like
Dull
find that unique. Yeah, there's not a lot out there, and I would figure for hosiery being what it is, and the industry that it is as a whole, that somebody would buy it. And the funniest thing I've ever seen hosiery used for, I don't know if you guys remember, way back in the 90s, was this company would take like wood chips and grass seed, and they would stuff old pairs of pantyhose, and the grass would grow through the holes.
No.
That was it. And they used to glue googly
Yeah,
eyes.
it'd be the
and
hair.
whatnot.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
I had to do this.
That's
in primary
right.
School.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I remember those as a kid, and it's like, wow, like, is that where they end up? Like,
There's got to you know what I'm envisioning? Okay, let's say Electric Light finishes the lamp, and then we do an episode about the lamp and have like the lamp like photographed and like do like a little like an episode of like hose furniture, because we're planning on having an episode that's focused on hose art for the future, which we totally stole from like seeing your photo.
Have you seen the film Dressed to Kill? Have you seen Dressed to Kill?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it, but I don't know if that's a good association to put with us, because it's sort of like all people who wear pantyhose are cross-dressing serial killers.
But it's not all, yeah, but it's not a good association for us,
It's-
fair enough. But the
It's
movie,
pretty trash. Like as far as like.
But you know, they actually shot it. The director shot it and pulled tights over the camera sensor to create.
Yeah, but that's used in photography. That's not something that was distinct to Dress to Kill. That's just that was something that you used. But basically, the movie is about a cross-dresser who gets dressed up and then kills women that they're attracted to, which is just not really not good. It's like sort of like it paints us as deviants, I guess. When there's
it does
no...
if you but I don't really think it's trying to represent everyone. It's just a fun, silly horror film, right?
People are stupid. They see one example of something in a movie and then they're like, that's the way it is with everything, I think. And then, it echoes from there. But I digest.
It's true, because like one scene that bothers me a lot, and if you can recall, is Aerosmith's Living on the Edge video.
Okay, wow.
Where
Think about that.
They have the cross-dressing scene at the end, and it's a guy getting all made up, and that always sent chills down my spine. It never played off well for me growing up watching that. So yeah, take the chance, Google it or YouTube
I
it.
will. I've watched that video 1,000 times. It's so funny. Now I'm wondering, like, what's my adult mind gonna like react to it? I wonder whatever I was internalizing.
Why did it send chills down your spine?
I don't know. It's because it kind of was like it played off of the whole like this isn't like, in my interpretation of it. What I remember it was always like you're living on the edge. That's
like deviant. Yeah. Okay. Or like crazy.
Yeah, it was like. Yeah, it didn't play off well. Like it wasn't in a positive light. So it was like you as growing up as a kid, you like wearing hosiery, and it's like when you see what the media portrays. Like, that was one of those things, right? You're in the '90s watching music videos, and
What do you mean, dude looks like a lady, Steven Tyler? Or is this a song about you, or
It's all out to play for, but I'm gunning for a I'm not sure how soon, but I just see in this garage really clearly, and it's fucking sexy.
I am too. I'm like, there has to be like a love seat. And I know that they're not supposed to be a love seat because that's like, encouraging closeness and whatnot, but there's gotta be one.
No, but you'd have like the DJ booth. The DJ would be a hoser. You'd have a screen room that's just playing like hose-based character films on repeat.
This is a big garage.
Yeah, you've got a little bar. You've got a little cocktail bar.
The second story.
Then you've got
and then on the lanai in their garage.
You got the smoking terrace on the roof again.
Pantyhose house garage.
Mannequin legs. It's all there to play for.
Mm-hmm. It's like all of a sudden your garage is like a 5 bedroom house in LA. It's like
it's getting to about 10:30
yes,
at night
yeah.
here. So I'm as much as I really am loving this chat, I really hope that we can do it again sometime, because I'm gonna have to.
I do too.
Shoot off.
I think we will.
It's been a pleasure. You guys are awesome, and you're exactly like the show. I mean, it's like this is what I love. This is what I truly try to seek out. Like you guys have said, we could spend hours talking here on here off record, but I mean, like this is I think what us as a community really need, and it'd be nice to see where we could just like spend a Friday night and just a couple of hours just shooting the breeze about it, and you'd be surprised where it takes you. And
I'm
nothing
constantly surprised, and I love it.
So nice to speak to you. And I'm sorry I've got to run, but yeah, thanks for coming on.
Okay, see ya.
All right, guys, have a great night.
You too. That was a really fucking great conversation, if I do say so myself. It's just, it doesn't stop. It just keeps getting more and more interesting.
And
what can I say?
I will never hear the word man cave ever again without thinking about this episode. So thank you very much.
That's true. Oh, that man. I wish I could do I wish I could send you the image I have in my head of what my version of it looks like, because I'd love to see what yours is.